Hello and welcome to World News on the Hour here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. The Christian Democratic Union, or CDU party in Germany, has confirmed its first nominations for the upcoming government under the likely next Chancellor, Friedrich Merz. As expected, the foreign ministry will be led by Johann Wadephul.
Wadephul was long rumored to be the frontrunner for the position. One of the more progressive members of the largest governing party, Wadephul is a proponent of allowing Ukraine to use Western-delivered long-range weaponry against targets on Russian territory. Wadephul will succeed Annalena Baerbock of the Greens, who held the position in the previous Scholz administration. It will be the first time a CDU politician will be foreign minister in almost 60 years. Merz has also chosen Katharina Reiche, the current CEO of Westenergie, a subsidiary of E.ON, as Minister for Economy and Energy. Merz's close associate Torsten Frey will head the federal chancellery, making him the direct right hand of the future chancellor. In total, the CDU will take 7 of the 17 ministerial posts within the government, and their Bavarian sister party will take 3. The last 7 posts will go to their Social Democrat partners, the SPD. It is likely that current Minister of Defense from the SPD, Boris Pistorius, will retain his position under Merz. The SPD is set to announce their candidates after Wednesday.
Polish President Andrzej Duda, who yesterday made a surprise appearance at a Karol Nawrocki campaign rally in the city of Łódź, delivered a scathing critique of what he called Europe's liberal left elites, accusing them of facilitating the removal of the United Right from power in Poland.
Jeżeli ktoś korzystając z tego
It's nothing short of hypocrisy using the support of the liberal left elites who for decades have occupied all the institutions of the European Union and who in fact did everything so that their ally Donald Tusk and his team won the elections by removing the United Right from power so that Poland would not operate on different principles than they wish. They were able to lie for years. They were able to deprive Poland of funds, block access to these funds, and today they pretend not to see that against the law, against the decision of the Electoral Commission, today the main opposition party was deprived of funding.
On Monday in Warsaw, on the sidelines of the summit of a Three Seas initiative, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and US Energy Secretary Chris Wright will sign a bridge agreement for the construction of Poland's first nuclear power plant. The project at the Lubiatowo-Kopalino site is scheduled to start construction in 2028, and power from the AP1000 reactor is expected to flow to the grid in 2036. According to the Polish Prime Minister's office, talks between Prime Minister Tusk and Secretary Wright will focus on Polish-US nuclear cooperation. A key highlight of the meeting is expected to be the signing of an engineering development agreement between Polish nuclear power plants and the Westinghouse Bechtel consortium. The government will allocate about 14 billion euros from the state budget to finance this investment. US President Donald Trump has urged Vladimir Putin to, quote, stop shooting, sit down and sign a deal. Speaking before his return to the White House, Trump also commented on his brief meeting with Vladimir Zelenskyy in the Vatican.
Well, I want him to stop shooting, sit down and sign a deal. And we have the confines of a deal, I believe. And I want him to sign it and be done with it and just go back to life. I think the meeting went well. We'll see what happens over the next few days. We'll probably learn a lot. I was very disappointed that missiles were flying by Russia, but that missiles were flying. Very disappointing. We'll see how it goes. On the Iran situation, I think we're doing very well. I think a deal's going to be made there. That's going to happen. Pretty sure it's going to happen. We'll have something without having to start dropping bombs all over the place.
Russia wants to deceive America, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. In his most recent nightly address, Zelenskyy said that increased pressure on Russia is necessary to stop the war.
The Russians talk a lot about their alleged readiness to accept American proposals, but so far there have been no signs of the Russian army preparing for real silence. On the contrary, since Easter, the occupier has resumed its usual assault activity. Of course, at the cost of significant losses. The Russians are trying to advance. And every day of such battles at the front proves that Russia is really trying to deceive the world, to deceive America and others, and to further prolong the war. And that's why we need pressure. Pressure is indispensable to make the Russians take all the steps, whatever's necessary, to stop the war.
North Korean authorities have confirmed that the regime did send troops to fight alongside Russian forces in the Kursk region. It marks the first time that North Korea has officially admitted to sending soldiers to fight the Ukrainian army.
In a statement released by the state-run KCNA news agency, the North Korean Workers' Party described the deployment as, quote, the highest level of militant friendship. The Central Military Commission of the party stated that Kim Jong-un authorized the deployment based on a strategic partnership he signed with Vladimir Putin last year. In the release statement, Kim praised the North Korean soldiers who participated in the clashes in Kursk, calling them, quote, heroes and representatives of the honor of the motherland. The announcement came soon after the commander of Russia's 810th Brigade stationed in Kursk told Vladimir Putin that the remaining Ukrainian soldiers in the region would soon be destroyed.
South Korean authorities have described North Korea's confirmation of troop deployment to Russia an admission of a criminal act. Moreover, officials in Seoul condemned Pyongyang for the, quote, inhumane and immoral decision to send young people to battle in Ukraine.
North Korea's participation in the war in Ukraine is a clear violation of the UN Charter and Security Council resolutions and constitutes an illegal act. North Korea's official acknowledgement of this involvement is in itself an admission of a criminal act. In response, our military strongly condemns these inhumane and illegal acts, together with the international community. The truth cannot be concealed. Sacrificing North Korean youth for the regime's survival is an inhumane and immoral act. The government calls for the immediate withdrawal of North Korean troops and makes clear that if current military collusion between North Korea and Russia continues, we will not stand idly by, but will respond firmly in coordination with the international community.
According to the latest report of the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, the world experienced the largest year-on-year increase in military spending since the end of the Cold War. In 2024, global military expenditure reached over $2.7 trillion, which marks an increase of 9.4% from the previous year. According to the report, the current top 5 military spenders worldwide are the United States, China, Russia, Germany and India. These 5 countries account for 60% of the global total. In Europe alone, military contributions rose by 17%, with all countries except Malta increasing their military budgets. Several European countries also saw unprecedented hikes in their defence spending. This includes Germany, which increased its military budget by 28% and became the biggest spender in Central and Western Europe, for the first time since the reunification of Germany. Germany is closely followed by neighbouring Poland, where military spending grew by 31% and in 2024 represented 4.2% of GDP. Cardinals inside Vatican City continue preparations to select and then inaugurate the next pope. According to unofficial sources, the conclave will begin on the 5th or 6th of May. During the closed session, cardinals will debate who is the most suitable to lead the Catholic Church going forward. Each day, dozens of electors will ask questions and make statements regarding the future of the Holy See. First, however, they must familiarize themselves with cardinals from 70 countries around the globe. The entire process is kept private, with electors swearing an oath of secrecy before entering the discussion chamber. During the conclave, cardinals will stay in the house of St. Marta, where Pope Francis spent his final 12 years. This marks the first time that electors will have stayed in the residence of a former pope. That brings us to the end of this news bulletin. We'll be back on the hour. See you then. Goodbye.